Start recording also now. Okay, for
I,
Audacity.
I started recording with the sound check only. Because I'm
Well, okay,
wow
I'm
fi.
starting recording now.
Yeah.
Clap. Just do the clap. One, two, three.
Bomber clap. What do you know what is
I
this
assume
bomber
you do.
clap thing?
Nah, man. I've been. I thought it was a Jamaican phrasing for like idiot or simpleton or some shit like that.
Oh. Because I've just been thinking it's like a nonsense word. But then I also am not sure exactly what it
It's
means.
so Google is a beautiful thing for this. Bomber clap meaning. What does bomber
Bomber
clap mean?
bomber clap.
Back before the use of tampons, women used cloths to hold their excrement after their period. So bumba is referring to their bum and clat is cloth.
Really?
Okay. Yeah.
Is that
So it is the
that
Jamaican
Urban
version of
Dictionary?
underwear.
Are you on? Okay, not you. Okay, so we have somebody who is not. I don't know if it's me also.
I think it's you only. I can't find the link though. Where is the?
If you're subscribed to my channel,
I
just
am
go there.
subscribed.
Then click on the live video and copy paste from there.
Hey, look who's here! Wow, my voice sounds sexy today.
I mean, I've been telling you for years. But
Now today, especially, it feels like I feel like I'm sick.
wait,
There's
so
a little
your
bit
voice
of
gets better when you're sick?
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I also like get that bubble in my voice and I try to keep it as long as possible. But then obviously it goes away, as many nice
Mm.
things do.
And now
Just make sure
I
you
just
tag
said join
here
button.
and everyone.
Yeah, I did everyone. You don't need to do here anymore now. Now you can just put everyone.
I just do it for safety sake.
Mhm. Anyway, man, I think we got to start the show. So let's start the show. Uh, how do you start the show? There's usually a way to start. Ah, this is the way we'll start.
Hello and welcome to Day Thambi, a podcast featuring myself, Soda, and Hakim Jalil. And today we are going to be talking about games and gaming. And now, Hakim,
Whatever
you
it
do
is.
your intro, and in the edit we'll see which one is better.
I was gonna like do like a rap when I was gonna
Oh
like
yeah.
it was gonna be
Uh,
insane.
uh.
Yeah, my name is Akib. His name is Soda. We gonna play some games in Yoda. Oh, so I couldn't come up with anything more. Let's
Wiki,
go ahead.
wiki, wiki, what? Day Thambi, reduce noise
Wiki,
ra.
wiki, wiki. What it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's start off this podcast by asking the most important question: why are we not doing this regularly, Soda?
I think I would like to state three main reasons.
Mm-hmm.
First reason is that we do actually have other things to do, and I'm not saying they're more important or whatever, but unfortunately, we do have to split our time. Um, in a ratio of employment to remuneration.
Mm-hmm.
That is one. The second thing I think is because we are both kind of a little skewed when it comes to doing this because sometimes we feel like what we're talking about may not be interesting enough. So until we think of something interesting to talk about, we may not do it. And the third and most important is that we're just lazy sometimes.
We
But
are
yes,
lazy. Yeah.
but today,
Uh,
especially today, I called up Akib and said, dude, my long lost friend said, hey, when is Thambi coming out? So why don't we just do one? And yeah, so now that we know at least somebody is listening, we want to do it again.
mhm. Today's topic that we decided to talk about was gaming and games in general. So we didn't want to just talk about like video games that we used to play. We wanted to also talk about games that we used to play as children.
Hmm.
So what is a game that you used to play as a child, Soda?
Mm, so I think the first games that I came across. I think in Tamil culture. So I think I don't know. I think this is distinctively to Tamil culture, but there's this thing called Pallanguri.
Hmm.
Have you heard of this?
No, I don't.
So it's basically you. It's technically a board game. So you have like this wooden thing that folds. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and when you open it up, it has like these potholes. So it'll look
Mm.
like one thing that you can use to make like appams and kuripanirams. Okay,
Mm.
and you use these red color things as coins, and those red color things are basically like seeds from a plant.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, let me actually just Google this. Okay. Pallanguri.
Palangwe. Ah, palangwe. Na, 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 na. Mm.
Pallanguri. I just dropped my phone also. I hope I managed it. Still working. Pallanguri.
Still working
According to
out.
Wikipedia, it says that Pallanguri or Alaguli Mane in Kannada or Pichala Pita in Telugu. And in Malayalam, it's Satkeli or Satkoli in Marathi.
Uh,
Um, It's basically a traditional ancient Mancala game played in South India, especially Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Later, the games were spread to other places, including Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh in India, as well as Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Wow. So, the
in the
game
whole
is
game.
played by two players with a wooden board that has 14 pits in all. And there have been several variations in the layout of the pits, one among them being 7 pits on each player's side. The pits contain cowrie shells, seeds, or small pebbles used as counters. Cowrie shells are basically the seashells that you may find at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And the fun part about this is because you basically need to have like 14 pits, 7 on each side. The board can be shaped in any form. Like it could be like a fish shape and all of that. And
Mm.
the whole point of the game is that it's kind of like you have certain number of seeds on your end, and it's like you kind of try to get the other person's thing.
Mm.
So
So
12
is it
counters
like
are placed in each cup except the middle of each row, into which only two counters are placed. The starting player lifts. Okay, you know what? It's boring to explain this, but basically, this is a game that they used to play back in the time where you used to like sit outside in your thinnai or veranda, as the British later called it, and it was like a good time pass. And it's Palanguri
you
is
sound like you sound like somebody who was born in the 40s.
yeah. I do. I
Like
do.
this game
I do
sounds like
have
that.
that effect about myself.
Like you, like the Britishers used to walk up to you and be like, "Hello, Brahmin fellow."
Brahman, no.
What is it called again? What is the game called again?
Pallanguri.
Do you want to play some palangre?
That is pretty spot on.
Uh,
Spot on, I say.
Anyway, so
So this was one of the
uh,
first games, and I used to have the board in my house. Okay, I don't know
okay.
why,
Do you still
but
have it?
I don't know. I might, because it's one of those things that gets passed on.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one game. I never really figured out how to play it, but it was fun because it's like, oh, it's like a relic. It's an antique. And then these red things that basically fell out of trees are your coins. So eco-friendly. Wow. Um, and there was also the game of that's called in Tamil. It's called Daya Kattai,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically how Mahabharata also started. Um,
I thought that
yeah.
was Chaturanga.
No, Chaturanga is chess, by the way. Shatranj
I know.
or Sadurangam is chess.
Didn't they throw like dice
Yeah,
in
so
that version?
in the Mahabharata, the dice that they threw, it was like two
Long
long
sticks.
things, and that was the dice.
Oh, I know this is pointless, but I wanted to show you something.
Yeah, explain it. Oh, he's not listening. Whoa, oh shit! Oh shit, son. He's got the dire cuttays, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
bruh.
What?
Yeah, this was because I got like huge into chess,
Ah.
and I remember that like there was some element of the game which required this.
No, but chess didn't have dice, right?
It didn't have dice, but it had some form of die rolling, if I remember correctly.
Oh. No, but
Was
in
it
this
chess?
one,
No,
basically,
wait, I'm mistaken. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's Chatur and yeah, you're right. For that, it was like a form of gambling that was happening.
yeah. So that's why the Mahabharata started because they gambled like people and all of that shit. So this Dayakate was also it's kind of like Ludo basically, where
Hmm.
and I guess the gambling aspect is you say what you will roll or where you will get, and then I think after that the more urban snake and ladder and stuff happened. But growing up, my most favorite game, I think you might know this. I've still not found out what it's called. Okay, but
Hmm.
I got this because for those of you who are not from Chennai, there is this age-old amusement park called MGM World.
I remember that. Yeah.
So when there was a period in time where if you bought the entrance ticket, and I think if you bought like a certain number of tickets, like if you get four or six or whatever, they used to give you this game for free.
Okay.
And this was the one where you had the marbles and then that round frisbee looking thing with the holes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but I don't. I also don't know the name of this game.
Yeah, and like that's basically like the whole point of the game was that you were only supposed to be left with one marble at the end, and it's really difficult to get there. I remember
Mm.
taking it to school and all and showing people. And then
It's
and
a
it's a
fun game.
two-player game, so it was fun.
Mm.
But if you play it with people you don't trust, then you keep losing your marbles, figuratively and literally.
Hey, well done, well done, well done.
But I think Ludo, Snake and Ladder, and chess were like the first board games that I came across. And then later on, I think maybe Scrabble and stuff. I think I'm still discovering a lot of mainstream board games that other people already know. Like you know a whole bunch of board games. What was your
Hmm.
first what was your first entry into like um systematic gaming offline?
To be very honest, my offline gaming started out very primitively.
What is
Uh,
primitive?
Primitive in the sense of like the game was very. Uh, it was a very savage game. Have you ever played Hot Hands?
What is hot hands?
You've never played Hot Hands. I'm sure you would have. That it would have been called something. So like
Okay.
in my school, it was
Is this
called
the
Hot
one where
Hands.
you sit in a circle and then like you're supposed to like you squeeze one person's hand but nobody else knows and then somebody is like message
No. That's
received.
not the game.
Oh, we
That's
had to
not the
talk
game.
about
So
that.
that game is also a lot of fun. But this
Yeah.
one, the way it works was it's a fucking savage game.
Hmm.
Any number of players.
Ah,
The idea is that you have to keep your hands over each other's. Okay,
okay.
and one guy will become the slapper. Okay,
So they're just like a giant hand sandwich.
and then like the first guy will slap it, and it got to a point like back in the day, dude. Like there were like all of us were like very crazy about this game. There will be like six people, and we'll be just hitting each other's hand. And the way you win is you if you haven't taken your hand off, you're the winner.
So basically this person keeps like vertically whacking down on like the hand sandwich until people disengage, and then
This is
the
again,
person who can withstand the most amount of like slaps. Oh shit, this is like Jenga meets domestic violence too.
oh, dude, and it got so bad. I remember once there were three of us. Okay, last round
Hmm,
there were just three of us, and we usually played this during lunch if we weren't allowed to play outside.
hmm,
Okay, like if
hmm.
it was raining or something like that.
Right.
So during that whole period, like the three of us didn't stop. We all three of us didn't back down. At the end of it, I my right hand was like I couldn't move it.
Wow.
The other guy had like a scar on his hand,
Oh shit!
and the third guy's hand actually started bleeding.
Wow.
So it
Ishwari
got
is
that
saying we
bad.
used to call that red hands. Are you talking about the slapping of the hands game? I just
Yeah.
realized as an adult, slapping of the hands game sounds extremely creepy.
Stop it! Stop it!
It's like,
Ugh.
wait, so how would you choose who gets to be the slapper and who gets to be like the stacker?
So whoever is on top, right? The first
Uh,
person on top
uh.
is considered the slapper. After he slaps, he'll go down the he'll go down the sandwich. Shut up, man. He'll go down the sandwich.
Whoever is on top is the slapper, and whoever is in the bottom is a sandwich. Um, you heard it here first. Red hands. Oh, not red hands. Okay, not. Oh, red hands, not red. Oh, not red hands. Ants. Okay, there's a lot of confusion in the comment section, which means we have people here. Hello, Ishwari and Priyanka, our very good friends from Discord. But do you remember
I
Kings? Oh, wait, before that, pass the message is what we used to call that. I
I
think that
I think the version I
electricity or
played was
pass the message. What is it called for you?
I remembered it as electricity because I never understood that game.
Yeah, even I never understood it. I felt like two people came up with the game and then got eight more people into it. And just to fuck with them, they would be the people who win all the time. And like always, one will be like message received and you'll be like, dude, I didn't squeeze your hand. What is this message? Also, they never told you what message they received. Okay. What is this fuck all notification system? Where they're like, you got it, I got it. What you got, that I can't tell. It's not part of the game.
Because like to be honest, that game came down to luck. It was just like, hey, did you? Also, you can lie, right?
Hmm.
Like you can straight up like, I didn't receive any message. You didn't receive any
Yeah,
message.
I remember that part. Like somebody will like message received, they'll be like, okay, who gave you? Did you give? Did you give? And always one person who would have given the message also wants to be the hero, so they also lie. So now you just have a bunch of lying children who are playing a game. There was also
But yeah,
Kings. Remember Kings?
what is kings?
Basically, we in my school we used to call dodgeball kings. I don't know why.
You used to call dodgeball king.
Yeah. So they'll be like, hey, kings Lama. Hey, kings Lama. And basically, it's one guy throwing the ball at you. Like, and there's always one. So because we would mostly end up having an odd number of people playing the game, there would always be more people throwing and lesser people running around because not everybody has the stamina.
Mm,
But as the person, I think the person who was dodging had more fun than the person
the
throwing.
person throwing.
Because when you're dodging, like in your mind, you're just like, oh, look, I'm freezing in this matrix pose. Yeah. Oh, the ball whizzed past me and I felt it on my ears. Wow. But it was also extremely hurtful.
Mm-hmm. It's a very strange thing nowadays. Like because I remember I went back to Saint Mark's. That's
Mm,
my old school,
mm,
and in when I was there in first standard and all, we used to have PT periods, right?
ah,
And we used to play like aggressive games. Like
oh, yeah.
I remember once we played flag football. I don't know if you've heard of flag football.
What is flag football?
The idea is like you'll have a towel in the back of your pants. Okay,
Wow. You went to a rich school where kids brought towels,
not towel.
bro.
It's like a what
Kerchief.
you know what I mean. Huh, kerchief.
Mm,
So and it was a red kerchief. Okay,
ah,
and the
ah,
ball will be there in your hand.
ah.
The idea of the game is you're supposed to take the ball to the end goal, like
Okay.
actual goal. Okay,
Ah,
but you're not allowed to tackle anybody. You're supposed to remove the kerchief
mm.
if you want to take the ball away from them.
Oh, wow.
But because it was my school and we were all aggressive fuckers, we
Mm.
used to tackle the fuck out of each other.
Oh, wow.
Like I remember, like I would like full on like spear one kid and all. It was great.
This is
But
just like training for ETC. Pinch, okay,
And
but don't tackle. Go
I
for the
remember
kerchief.
that we used to also play with the girls, and there was one girl who she tackled me so hard I fucking forgot where I was.
Oh wow. And that's
Yeah.
how Akib fell in love for the first time. That kerchief
All
though.
that. Like I started doing, a क्या बोलती तू?
Soon, Suna, Ati kya flag football. There was
But
also
yeah, those are some.
this other game that we used to play. Um, it was called so. I mean, so we used to play a version of hide and seek, but we used to say dabba.
Dabba.
Yeah. So basically, how in hide and seek, there's one person who's the catcher
Mm-hmm.
in the right, and there's one person. So they have to go around and they have to keep every time they see somebody, they have to run back to a spot and then slap their hand on it and say, "I saw you here, come out. I saw you here, come out." So in the middle of all of this, if any one of the hiders gets the chance before they are called out, they can go to that spot and say, "Hey, Dabba," and then the game ends.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so you are always outnumbered and at a disadvantage because you need to make sure you see everybody and call them out as many as possible in the same time. Otherwise, somebody like dude, sometimes I've seen this happen. Okay, so we'll make them count to 50, right? So there's one kid who's like against the wall and he's just like 1, 2, 3, 4 and going till 50. Okay, there's one more kid right behind that guy.
Mm.
As soon as that person does 50 and looks around, this person to the back will be like, Dabba. And he'll be like, dude, just like, fuck you, man. Okay, I was here to play a game, but now y'all fucking with me.
Did you have you ever played the game? What is this game, dude? It's such a fun game. Nichols Kundals.
Nikal Kundal. Oh, it is the best excuse for violence
Yeah,
growing
man.
up.
What a fun game.
For those of you who don't know, Nikal is the slang. I mean, it's basically Nikal and Kundal. Okay, these are the two words, and this is the game. And Nikal means standing, and Kundal means sitting. And the rules of the game are very simple. Okay. If you are playing this game, and most of the time you don't know you are playing it until somebody whacks the shit out of you. But mostly, the simple rule of this game is every time you stand up, you have to say Nichols. And you have to have your thumb up. Okay. So you're like, hey, Nichols. And then every time you sit down, you should say Kundals and have your thumbs down. If you fail to do this, a person will appear to beat the shit out of you. That is the entire game. There is no power dynamic. Anybody whacks anybody. Like, dude, I've seen kids cry because they didn't know they were part of the game, and somebody just ran at them full speed and clotheslined them on the way home because they're like, hey, I didn't say Nichols.
No, but that's what I liked about my school, which was the fact that we had to make it like a contract.
Oh, what is the
So
contract?
the contract was this. We're like Nichols Kundals? No, Nichols.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was
Like
very
you
cute.
go up to somebody and you hold out your pinky, and if they also hold out their pinky and you link it, then you're like, okay, now we are both complicit in this game called Nichols Kundals.
Yeah.
1 second, I just have to
What
switch
is
on
the?
my
Did
charger.
you ever
Hold on.
play the game? As you guys can see, we are a very professional setup.
Sorry, I
Uh,
haven't. I
we do
wasn't there for the
this.
last few seconds. Did I ever play what? Remember Salute?
So,
Rajat
did you
Raja
ever
is
play the game?
asking, do you remember Salute? We'll get to that. I haven't heard of it, but yes. What is the original question?
Or did you ever play Nichols Kundals?
Few times, very rarely, to understand what was going on because I didn't have friends. But as soon as I realized what it was, I was like, nah, bro. Nah.
4 years.
But
I
although,
was in a game for 4 years.
uh, you were in the game for 4 years. Huh?
For 4 years
Like it's
with
some
that one
fucking
person.
NBA.
Bro, I kid you not, it really was. It was from. I even changed schools. right? Fourth, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, till seventh standard. Okay,
mm,
I used to play with this kid.
mm.
I don't even remember his name, but for 4 years, like we lived in the same society,
So
everything.
it's just the two
Okay,
of you.
like the game, we had like multiple versions of the game, but this with this guy, 4 years, we like just slapped the fuck out of each other. Dude,
Uh,
I remember once there was like one problem, okay,
uh.
where he sat down, I hit him,
Oh,
okay,
oh.
and he said Kundal just like by like couple of
Yeah,
seconds.
they always used to do that. No, they'll hover, and then as you're about to, they'll be like, hey, Kundal, say, sat down and said Kundal.
And like you know that there is punishment when it comes to
Penalty.
this, no? Penalty means they'll fucking whack you twice.
Yeah.
So so once what like we actually had like an intervention, like there had to be a third party involved,
Hmm.
where both of us were like saying like I saw him sit down, I didn't see the kundal. If I didn't see the kundal, then I should be allowed to hit him. He was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. He should have heard me.
Hmm.
And like there was this back and forth, and finally they were like, you know what, you'll have to allow him to hit you once,
Mm.
so that it's equal.
Yeah, the penalty was always that the person who was wrongfully physically violated or abused would get a chance, but only one chance. So now, like I've seen people like just like do exercise and all be like, "Neitra, one shot, I get one opportunity, yeah." And then after that, they're like, okay, now I'm back to being the bitch. I think like Nikas Kungal should have just been called Yuma bitch now.
No, I think that game put all kids in like high alert. I feel like I was a very sharp child.
Yeah, it definitely improved your reflexes because
Oh,
anybody
for sure.
could like whack you from anywhere. Like I've seen children have that twinkle in their eyes when they walk into school, knowing today they might get the chance to whack somebody.
What was so like these are all aggressive games, but I think like the first actual board game that I sat on and played
Ah.
was this game called what was that game called? It was a very fun game. It's a lot like Ludo, but it's not Ludo.
So what? It requires a board.
It requires a board, and the Ludo also requires a board.
Hmm.
But like the way the pieces moved was very different. I like my uncle
Ah.
taught it to me. It was a very interesting game. I don't remember what it was called. I think later on it was called something like I think it was later on it was called something like I remember I watched a documentary also about
Oh
fuck,
shit!
what was it called?
That much mainstream, huh? People are making documentaries now.
No, it wasn't a documentary. It was like a 10-minute video about the game and like them
Oh,
playing it.
okay.
The ancient game of Mur.
Mer.
Yeah, it was a very
Hello,
cool game.
Shrishti. What's up? Am I too late? I don't know. It's okay. We're still going on. It's never too late to join us. Thank you. Mer. MERR.
Murr. Mur.
MUO. Murr.
Murr.
Okay.
Murr.
Tell us
Very
what
cool
was
game.
Mer about?
So the way the game works is you had like a box board,
Mm,
okay,
mm.
and uh, you had four pieces just like Ludo. And the idea of the game is you have to get your piece down till the last end of the board.
Oh,
I think it was 5 to 6 paces max.
oh,
Okay, and there was and like Ludo, there was this thing like if you roll a six, you get to roll again.
oh, okay, okay.
So but there was a little bit of strategy involved in the sense of like you know that if the other person rolls this now, there's a higher chance of you cutting that person because what
Mm.
happens is that piece will go back, and
Oh,
because it was limited space, like it wasn't like Ludo where it's like one big ass board.
right.
It was a limited space board, and that's what would happen. And it was a fun little game that was taught to me. I don't remember. I think that was like my initial reason to start uh, board games because I started getting really into board games after that. I
Hmm.
remember I played this game called Warhammer 40K, which was
Warhammer 40K.
yeah,
Intense name.
it's a very intense game. But like the idea behind it is it's like a war game,
Ah,
but it's like for board games. And like the way it would work is you will have minis, okay,
hmm.
and they'll be like this tall or something like that.
Right.
And this was a very expensive habit to have, like back in the day. It still is. But like the idea was that you set up like when I was younger, I used to set up scenarios for myself,
Hmm.
and I would have like a bunch of my army men here and a bunch of an army men here,
Wow.
and they would come and they would attack it. I was a very lonely child.
No, but I think definitely board games were to cure that part of your life, right? Where if you think you don't have any friends, here's a world for you to jump into where you dictate all the terms. But before we get into board games a little further, remember hand games?
Hand games that I remembered was like this one, hand cricket,
Hand cricket, Chikuliba, and chopsticks.
chopsticks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I used to miserably fail at chopsticks every time.
because there's only one. Like honestly, there is a way to win. Like that game, it has like a logical way of winning.
Yeah, but the logical way of winning is you overload one hand for the other person, so that now they only have one hand.
Yeah,
But then, as soon as they get to an even, or I mean, as soon as they have more than one,
they'll
they'll
change.
change hands. I felt
No,
like
but there are,
Chikuliba was much faster.
yeah, but because I feel like chopsticks is you have to be little good at math. Like you need some math in your life.
Yeah, I think chopsticks was definitely about math, but I think Chikuliba was a great bonding game. Like I think
Srishti
corporates
made a
should
good
bring back.
point. Rock paper scissors also. Yeah.
Chikuliba is Indian rock paper scissors. Okay, that's basically what it was. Where and I think that Chikuliba was a great team bonding activity, and corporates
I agree.
should bring it back. So people who are listening, if you work in a corporate and you want us to do a Chikuliba workshop, we'll rename it accordingly to suit your corporate needs. But I think the world needs Chikuliba. Like if we are bringing back Ludo, we should bring back Chikuliba as well.
I always found it funny that it was called Chikoliba and like Chichi, Lily, Cuckoo, Baba,
Yeah. For
all
those of you who
that.
don't know what Chikuliba is, we can't explain it fully.
I forgot what are the symbols. This is Lily, right?
So if your index finger only is Lee,
Uh,
and if you make like a peace symbol, it's Chi. But then you can hold out three fingers and call it chili.
yeah.
And
No, that's if you do this.
no. See, this is where the two schools of thought always collide when it comes to Chikuliba. Because if you go with the original school of thought, then the game is called Chi, Ku, Li, and Ba, which means that Chi and Li are separate symbols.
Yeah.
But technically, if you combine Chi and Li and hold out three fingers in the fashion of either like a super and like the last three figures or the first three figures like Wolverine, technically it is chili. Ba is
No,
your palm outstretched and Ku is a fist.
no, but see, this is the problem with chili. Okay, if
Hmm.
you can do this, even if you have one hand, that means you have now one, two, three, four, five. You have seven possibilities again.
No, so the point of chili was that you still kind of have the underdog advantage of eliminating one hand. See, because if I
See, that's
said
the problem. I
chili
feel like
and you had
hmm.
Li or Chi and one more variation, I could technically cancel one hand off. So
See,
now
that's
we
the
are both
problem.
level.
I feel like that's the problem. I feel like there has to be an obvious advantage when it comes to two hands. You can't suddenly be like, oh, I can do chili now.
No, the obvious advantage for you if you have two hands is
So
you
can you
can.
technically do this? Can you say chili?
You can technically, but the other way to be smarter about it is you can go with a kuchili or a bachili,
Virtually.
because if I have only one hand, my only options are chi, li, ba, and ku. So
Hmm.
if you do bachili or kuchili, I have only
Virtually.
one option to escape, which makes it harder
This
for
is
me. That's why you
dumb.
corner.
That's dumb.
And I
I feel
always
like
loved
your
the
school of thought
leadership.
sucks.
No, I always loved the leadership in this game, because if you're playing it with more than one person, right? Like if there are five people playing, you would always has to establish the order of playing. So you'll be like, okay, five people are first. I will ask you, then you ask them, then you ask them, then you ask them, then they'll ask me. So there would always be like a proper round robin fashion, which I felt was a great skill to pick up early on in life.
Yeah.
Akib's mom is questioning Akib's choices in life as a grown ass adult
What?
man
What?
discussing Chikoliba.
You can get it from Danzo it from somewhere. How are you going to buy it?
Wait, what do you need to buy?
Huh?
What do you need?
Something. Some electronic device I have to buy.
So you, what you can do is, if you can find a shop on Google close by, you can call that shop and you can make the payment to them, and then get a Swiggy genie, because Dunzo doesn't work in your area.
That's also true.
You will have
No,
to
but
pay separately.
the issue is we need to swipe with the card.
Yeah, so you can add cards to Google Pay. Did you not know that?
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about.
Tech support OP in the chat. Those two people who are watching.
Okay, what were we talking about?
We talk about Chikoliba and the different schools of thoughts. Uh,
I think your school of thought sucks.
yeah,
I
no
feel
doubt.
like it ruins the game.
But it's more inclusive,
No, it's not. How is it inclusive? It's making it
because
like it's
chili,
already making. No, it's
chili
already
makes the
making.
difference.
Damn man, I feel like you're. It's an additional rule that makes no sense. Because then in that sense, I should be able to make Cuba also with one
You
hand.
can. So see that's where these wise asses would like get off. Okay, because like you could have Baku, but when you say Cuba, the other person is confused, and most of the time they end up mimicking what you did because they're confused, and then they are out.
Yeah, but like Baku is still this, right? This is Baku. Open palm, closed hand,
Yeah, but
right?
you get to decide which you call out first, right? Like you can
Ah,
go
you
right,
can say
left, or
Cuba,
left, right.
Baku, you can say whatever. But my point is, you can't do it in one hand.
No, you can't do it in one
Chili,
hand.
you
But
can
see, if
do.
somebody says Baku and I have Chi or Li or Chili, I escape. No.
Yeah, but like what you would not, you would escape even if you said chi, no?
Yeah, but now I have three options, even though I just have one hand.
I feel like this is an age-old debate, and I feel like
Yeah.
the
And for those of you who still
debate
haven't
started.
understood what Chikuliba is, it's basically if you do something, if you show some hand gestures and the other person has the same hand gestures, either fully or half, whichever hand matches yours, they have to lose that hand.
True.
Before we move on, do you
Uh,
want to do a quick Chikuliba now?
yeah, let's do a
Okay.
quick
And
chickly.
also, when you're playing Chikuliba, you must say everything. Like,
We're not doing chili and all, okay?
okay, we're not doing chili. Okay. So when you're playing Chikuliba, you do Wakanda symbol and then say Chikuliba.
Chikoli ba. Hmm.
Like that. Okay. Cool.
And the caller has to call out first.
Yeah. And when you say Chikuliba and you do the hand symbol, that is trials. After
Hmm.
that, only you ask.
Correct.
Okay.
Ready? Ah?
Okay. Chikuliba.
Chikoli ba.
Okay. Now,
I think I
Akib,
go
you
first.
ask. Yeah, you ask.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the caller.
Hmm.
Okay. Ready?
Hmm.
Cuba.
Chichi, motherfucker. Okay, now I have to ask. Okay. Kuli.
What the fuck? Oh, okay.
One hand is out. Akib. Okay. Now your chance to ask.
Ba.
Cuckoo. Okay. Cuckoo. Cuckoo. Okay. Chiku. Oh, what is escape? Wow. Akib with a Lee.
Ba.
Oh, one hand out.
Aha.
One hand out. Okay, cool. Uh, chi. Oh,
Chi.
li.
Ku.
Uh, chi.
Ba.
Li.
Ku.
Oh, I'm out.
Yes.
Ah, damn it. And that's how you make Instagram
Champion.
content.
Champion.
We have to put this up.
Champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
we
is
have to
this
put
is
this up.
yeah. We have to put this up on Instagram. Just bring
Yeah.
hashtag bring back Chikuliba, guys. But yeah, book cricket. What about book cricket though?
Book cricket, I never got into it because of the. I like books more, I guess. I don't know. Like I felt like book cricket was a very lazy way of playing the game. You know what? What we used to do a lot though.
Hmm.
You know, we had those exam pads. No.
Ah,
So what we would do is we would. This is called inside cricket.
ah.
We'll have the exam pad. We'll have crumpled paper,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and we'll throw it.
yeah, yeah. And
That was
like
my favorite game.
I think we also played this, and how we used to make it interesting is we would call out what stroke you have to do. So you'd be like, okay,
Mm,
now you only do cover drive. Then if you miss it, you're out. Then you just give
mm,
it to the next person. But the person throwing still gets 6 balls.
yeah.
So still one
It was
over
a
you
fun,
can bowl.
it was a fun little game, and it was way more fun than fucking book cricket, where it was like just random. And
I
I
never
remember,
understood why book cricket you only counted the right side pages.
because I think the reason was because you can get a 0 and 1. It didn't really make sense. You could also count the left hand side pages also, but I guess
Yeah,
the
but I
right is
guess
just more
the
difficult.
no the right hand side uh, would always I no the right hand side would always be odd and the
No,
left
I
hand
guess
side would always be even.
because I always feel like you're seeing the book like this, right? So you generally see it like you'll see the right hand side number first.
Yeah, so whenever you just randomly open the right hand side is what you would always see.
And I think it's just funny how like somebody would have thought about it, right? They'll be like having like a max book and they'll be like, "Man, I hate math."
Oh yeah, now I have to do
And then
numbers.
like they're like, "Hey, do you like cricket?" Yeah,
Eh,
6 I got, 5 I got,
and
3 I got.
there'll always be one designated dude who was very pavam because they would never allow him to play, but they'll be like, "You be scorer, okay? You're good at maths. You be
I
scorer."
was so
And
sad for
that
them.
dude would have just like his rough note full of random numbers across pages that only he can explain.
There was also bingo that we used to play a lot.
Oh yeah, bingo, tic tac toe, and name place animal things. I think all these three were in the same category.
Did you ever do battles?
What is
We
battles?
used to call it battles. The idea there will be 4 points. Okay,
Ah,
you take your pen
ah,
and you have to place it on the point like this,
yeah.
and then you do this.
Oh yeah,
So
you
what
let
happens
go.
is,
Oh yeah,
uh,
we used to have a version of football where like you use only half the page and you always shoot from the center and
mhm,
you have to let your pen go and see how far uh, it goes and you also like draw the keeper beforehand. So
mm,
like in case your line didn't reach, then like they'll use like trigonometry trajectory and be like, ah, you if you had gone like this, keeper would have anyways defended it. So
mm.
no goal, no goal.
That was a lot of fun. I like those kind of games. Another game that I really enjoyed back in school days was what was that game, man? I forgot. I forgot.
But what was
It's
the
lost me.
mechanics?
I don't like. That's what I'm trying to remember the game
Did you
itself.
use books or any paraphernalia?
No. Pen. It was pen
Pen
fight.
fight. Oh, dude. You know what? Like in pen fight, also some fuckers will come and be like, "Hey, my ballpoint pen has a rubber, so it's not spinning." And then they'll like manually remove the grip on the pen so that it would spin more. And I think that like there were also weight classes, right?
Yeah.
Because like you
So
had
ink
the
pens would
heavyweight.
have a separate one. Yeah.
Yeah, ink pens would have separate. And I remember that Trimax gel. Renault's
Hmm.
Trimax gel was one of the best pen fight pens because it was heavy enough that it wouldn't spin too much, but when it would whack some other pen, it would go flying.
Flying, yeah. And that's what I liked about. I think that's why Reynolds. I think ads like Reynolds should have taken pen fight into
Yeah,
consideration.
dude, I think there was a point in my life when I was in school where I legit would buy pens based on their functionality in pen fight.
In pen fight, yeah.
Like I'd always buy minimum two, three pens because I'm like, this one I'll write it, but this one. Fine
I'll
grip.
fight with.
Fine grip 0.5. Oh, what a fucking pen fight weapon that was.
I remember, we had tournaments at school for this dude,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was an actual event. That's what I miss, dude. Like this kind of community thing, I'm sure kids don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, oh, dude, let's have a tournament with pen fight.
And you know what is the worst part? When I was in school, right? Our desks were always those slopey desks with that compartment below it.
Hmm.
So technically, there was no level playing field at all. So you will start in the middle, but always one will be lower than the other. So the person whose pen is on the lower side of the slope will try to use power. Okay. But
Mm,
the person who's on the higher side, because they know they will overspin, they'll use precision. So
mm.
much science we put into this.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm
big pen
actually
fight.
surprised that I don't know I don't see a lot of that anymore.
Yeah, I've actually not heard anybody say pen fight in the last decade.
Yeah, I have like a lot of cousins. They don't come and tell me like, oh, I was playing pen fight in class.
Sorry, one
But yeah,
second. No, we are not ignoring you, Srishti. Sorry. But yes, Trimax. She's saying Trimax used to blot a lot. But I think the blotting would happen inside the pen. Like you always know when somebody has used a Trimax, when those spirals are like, ink blotted, and you're like, yeah, this one has been using this Trimax for a while.
yeah.
And also, like, I think, I don't know, is this, since you might know people who are still like going to school maybe. Um, was it just in our time that you had to achieve pen status in school. In my
Yeah.
school, till fourth standard, you can't use pens, dude.
No,
And
I think
and we
that's
used
still
to
a
wait.
rule.
We'd be like, hey, one day I'll be in fifth standard, raw. That time I'll only use pencil for graphs. The face will be
No,
using pen.
I think that's still a thing. Schools still do that. Not all schools, but like a
Yeah.
lot of schools still do this. I know for a fact St. Michael still does.
Uh, we used to do
Till
this
fifth
thing
you have to do
where we used to take refills and try to uh, like whenever the pen would stop working. I don't know who came up with this fuck all hack. Okay, whenever the pen would stop working, if it was a gel pen or a ball pen, they would always put the end of the refill to their mouth and they'll try to suck on it because they think that'll like clear the thing out of it. I've seen so many children just like have ink leaking out
ink
of their
at their mouth.
mouths. I think sometimes
So
I did it at least once or twice, and I was like,
I've done it a
"Ugh."
lot. I've done it a lot, and the reason you do it, if you suck it in and then blow out, the ink sort of gets pushed up and down, so
Oh,
that it stops being dry and there's some kind of wetness to it.
well, out of context, still a good tip to have in life. Nobody
Hey,
told us about the blowing back. We just used to suck the shit out of it and be like, "Ugh, it's in my mouth." But what is the
I
first
miss.
ever board game that you played where you were like, oh, this is fun, and it's not like a school thing? Like outside of school, what is the first board game that you got introduced to? You guys also miss pencil days?
Board.
Yeah, I think we do miss pencil days. Like I recently came across a pencil, and at the back end of the pencil, instead of a rubber, there was like these black small ball looking things. Okay, and I thought that it was there for added sound when you write because it's like but then when I read the pencil, it was basically it was some seeds. Okay, and they were like, hey, if you're using this pencil, please also take these seeds with you and plant them and grow plants. I was like, wow,
Uh,
so good. What a nice message.
yeah. Board games as such, I feel like I played a lot of board games as a kid.
Hmm.
like just because of the fact that I had like a lot of people around me who played a lot of board games. I think more than board games, card games is what I was introduced to more.
Hmm.
Pokemon, usual. Uh, but I was huge into this game called Duel Masters.
Oh, what is that game?
It was a lot like it's a lot like Pokemon. You have different sets of cards,
Hmm.
and you have to battle other people to. Like you can put down cards. You have to break all their shields, and then you have to kill the person. And all. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, but like,
That was
what did the cards have?
the cards will have like a monster, and it'll give you a power level of that monster,
Ah,
and it'll tell you what the monster can do.
yeah. I don't know why trump cards went out of fashion, dude. Because Pokemon, I think, was the thing
Is
that
still
elevated
existing.
it. But cricket, WWE, oh shit,
No,
fuckers would
both of
die
them
for
still
that.
exist.
Trump
Both of them
cards,
still
really,
exist.
I've not seen any trump cards recently.
No, no,
Because you
this
used to
that
be
this.
able to buy them at like supermarkets.
But it's not like how we used to have. Like I like trump cards before, where in the sense it was just a pack of cards you had.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's like, with this booster pack you'll get certain number of cards. It
Oh
won't
yeah.
give you
No,
all the
but that
cards.
scam was there then also. No? Like with Pokemon cards, the silver pack would be more expensive than regular packs, and there was a gold pack. There'll be like one card. That's all. You're paying that much money for just one card. Then
Do you
you
know how
take it
much
to
those
school.
cards cost now?
How much?
Well, if you have a Generation One Bulbasaur,
Hmm.
which was very commonplace before, it would be, and if it's in mint condition, you
Hmm.
could make $6,000 of it. Yeah,
What?
yeah.
So this makes me want to go back and find it. But do you remember back in the day we used to have visiting card folders?
That's where you would place the cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I at some point I had one and a half visiting card folders full of Pokemon cards. I don't know
I,
if it's
I
still there.
I feel like all that has happened for me is that where the fuck is my yeah. Like I feel like I've not changed much as a child because I have this.
Oh wow, Magic the Gathering. Oh, Magic
So
the Gathering. I've heard of that before.
it's just a bunch of cards. This is how I would place it.
Just the pride in your eyes as you're showing this off. So cute. Just like I'm 10 years old again. Look at my collection. Yeah, fuckers would
Dude,
kill for
these
this.
no, I kid you not. There is one card in this which cost me a lot of money. Wait, I'll show you that card. Ah, there is this thing called Sailor of the Means. Okay, this card here.
Ah,
This cost me 550 rupees.
what?
Yeah, that one card.
So are these just collector items at this point?
These the cards that I put in this are collector items,
Hmm.
but I have like a bunch of other cards which I play.
So you are like huge into D&D, right?
Hmm.
So Dungeons and Dragons. So when was the first time you played Dungeons and Dragons? And while you just think of that answer, I will be back in a second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When was the first time I played Dungeons? Corporate social responsibility is what it's called, pencil and ink, because it was expensive. That is true. You won't be lied to. I got to be you. I am a guy who just likes to party. Chalo, going AFK, I'm listening. Thank you, Shrishti. मेरा नाम बोलो. I am a comedy king. So, what's up? I realize I've been silent for some time now, and I didn't realize, but that's okay because life is supposed to be okay. When I was a young boy in a young world, uh, I was sitting across a person, and I told that person, Jumanji. This is riveting content, as you can see. Yeah.
Oh, going AFK. Hmm. Yeah, D&D. Something that I've always wanted to try but never understood.
But you have played multiple times now.
No, when? I've never played D&D. What are you talking about?
You We literally play D&D every time we do the detective game.
Yeah, but it's not D&D.
The first time I ever played D was with this guy called Nirmal,
Hmm.
and he was
Shout
like
out.
a Shut
Shoot it.
Nirmal was about 17 years old. I was about 14 at that time.
Hmm.
And I remember I was at a friend's house, and I think Nirmal was the bigger brother or some shit, some
Right.
stuff like that. So we were all playing something on the PC. I think we were playing Captain Claw
Oh, yeah.
and
Magic Claw.
Magic Claw. Yeah. So while we were sitting, we were playing that. The net went down. See, the power went down,
Ah,
and Nirmal sat us down and was like, "Okay, you guys like Captain Claw and all. Do you guys want to try another game?"
ah.
I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'm up for it." And we played like he didn't like explain everything, but he gave us character sheet.
So take
And
me
I
through
saw
how it was for you. Like Akib Jalil meets Nirmal, power is out, can't play Magic Claw. What happened?
so I sat down like with my friend then, and both of us were very bored. We didn't know what to do.
Ah,
So me and him were like, okay, what to do? Nirmal came in and said like, hey, the power is out, but don't worry, we can still play something. He told us we could play like we had Monopoly,
hmm,
we had like, but we both had like grown out of that, and we were like very not very interested in playing those.
right.
So Nirmal said, okay, you guys like me and my friend at that time, we were huge into like fantasy and all.
Hmm.
Like I at that point of time, I finished reading Lord of the Rings,
Oh
like the
wow.
trilogy.
Still not read it.
So
Still not watched it. Sorry.
it doesn't matter. Like I think it's a very good book to read. I wouldn't watch the movies just because it's a good movie, but it's like you don't really the book is better.
Right.
So I sat down and I was like, okay, what are we doing today? So what will we play? And he took out this box and it had like a bunch of these papers.
Ah.
Okay. The minute I saw the papers, I was like, oh shit, like what is this?
It's a
Like
memory
it has
game.
like some memory game. There were a lot of numbers on,
Oh no.
and he gave me this character sheet,
He's just
and I
trying to get
still
us to do his homework, guys. Quit, quit, quit. Abort.
and I remember, and I loved it because I still remember the character's name.
Ah.
The character's name was Thornbridge.
Thornbridge.
Yeah, and it was a dwarf. That was the character.
But in
Thornbridge the
D&D,
warrior.
dwarves are like giants, right?
No, no, no. They're dwarves only. They're short people. So, but they're like hardy short people.
Mm.
I think their maximum height is like 3 to 4 feet.
Oh yeah. No, only in like Norse mythology, dwarves are huge because like in
Yeah,
Thor Ragnarok, the dwarf is huge.
yeah. So we sat down, and I remember the first thing he asked, okay, this is a game where you can do anything you want.
Ah,
You don't have to like. I will tell you something. I will tell you a story of sorts. As I'm telling the story, you can tell me what you want to do.
right.
My friend got bored very quickly.
Ah,
Like he was just like, whatever. Like I'm not interested. But Nirbal had like a very nice way of telling stories, and he did voices also.
ah.
So I was sitting and watching, and like at one point I forgot that like, oh, like the internet is down, see the computer is down,
Oh
no
wow.
power.
So wait,
I'm just
your friend
listening to
just like
the.
quit, and then it was just you.
No, no, no. At one point, like he would play along,
Hmm.
but he was very passive player.
Right. It's like, okay, I guess I'll do this. But you're like, no, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then, whoa.
I remember like we were fighting a troll, okay,
Hmm.
and you have to remember, you have to remind yourself that this game is very just make believe,
Right.
right? There's no like, there's nothing concrete you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's all in your head,
It's just whatever
right?
you want it to be.
Yeah. So like he's painting this beautiful picture of this mountainside, okay,
Right.
and there's this troll that's looking at us, and it's huge.
Right.
And at this point, when we were fighting the troll, me and my friend were like, okay, how do we hit the troll?
Hmm.
And there are skills that we could use. And like we were like, okay, how does this skill work? How does the skill work? And like when it was the troll's turn, we would be scared,
Oh.
right? Because it would be like the troll's gonna fuck us up.
Ah.
And it's such a it was such an interesting experience. And I remember like, uh how can I like learn this game, right?
Hmm.
And I remember he gave me this pamphlet, okay.
Oh. Okay.
It's this big ass pamphlet where it just gives you the basics of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And I think like after that I just went online and started looking up how to play the game. But I think like,
Now you had an excuse to join chat rooms, basically.
no, I never joined chat rooms to play the game until like recently, actually. Like recently, because of like Roll20, you can go get into chat rooms and talk to people who want to play games like you.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun. And I got into this huge community of people who like to tell stories and who like to play the game. And like I think like I have so many fond memories when it comes to playing with a group. Like we might not like talk a lot right now, but I can always be like, dude, remember the time we ran a brothel?
What?
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, please don't take that out of context, people. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, and within Dungeons and Dragons, which is a fictional fantasy world, Akib ran a brothel with his friend, which was a lot of fun, apparently.
It was a lot of fun because I remember like the scenario was that there is a dark lord. Okay,
Ah.
he is like fucking shit up everywhere.
Oh.
Like this continent is being destroyed by this fellow.
Ah.
All of us were like, whatever, fuck that.
Eh,
Let's go start a brothel.
who cares about the continent? We need matter. We need gods.
And it was so cool because I remember like there were like a lot of stories are because I had a good DM at that point, Dungeon Master. Like he allowed us to do it, and you know how he hooked the story back in. It was beautiful. You know how he did it.
Ah.
He destroyed the brothel.
Wow. It's just like now you have nothing to do. What do you do now?
No, it became a point where because the Dark Lord was there,
Ah.
and the Dark Lord started fucking shit up in our place. We were like, oh shit, we gonna fuck him up now.
You come to
Because
my brothel and fuck with it? Well,
I remember there was so many things that happened. There was a panty raid. There was
wow.
a moment.
I
There
hope
was
you
this,
were of legal age.
this was
Yeah,
like
then
quite.
fine. Then I have no
The,
questions. Do whatever you want. Run a brothel.
the there was also one amazing sequence which I will never forget, where uh, there was this girl from the brothel, okay, and like she's an orphan and all,
Oh no.
and it became this very sad story of how she started, like she wants to sell her body because of the situation where she couldn't make money anymore.
Mm,
Uh, and that was a character introduction for one of the players who wanted to join in.
mm.
And it was such a cool thing because everyone took it seriously, right? They weren't like fucking like, of course we were fucking around, but there was that moment when
It's a
that character
brothel.
introduction, yeah. But that moment, like that character introduction stuff happened, we were all like, huh, this is our character, this is who we are.
Ah.
It was very nice.
So what's very interesting about you is that you are almost as much into video games as you are about board games. And I've always felt like those two are like sort of like conflicting things because video games, like people who are drawn to video games are people who probably didn't get the chance to play board games because video games allow you to play by yourself, and now because the internet you can still play together with people without having to be physically around them. But then like with board games that's not as fun. Like virtually you can still do board games now, but then they're not as fun as like when there's a graphics element to it. So
Mm.
how did your video game stuff start? Because for me, the first video games that I played, I had to play like secretly because I was not allowed at home and all due to my struggling academic career. But I did make like friends in the same colony. Those guys had like the Atari type cassette video games which we used to play, like the motocross and all of that. And then I think the first ever game that I remember buying. Okay, so I bought one game called Virtua Tennis, not virtual, Virtua.
Virtua.
Virtua
Mm.
Tennis. And I went home and I didn't buy pirated, okay. I bought real MRP game. I went home, I put it in the CD player, and then the CD exploded inside my CD drive. And then for like a week and a half, I couldn't do anything. Somebody had to come manually remove the drive and then show me the pieces. And I was like, I swear I put it properly. The CD broke while I was trying to get into the game. It's not my fault. Please believe me. But the one other game that I got, which was I think completely blind. Like it was, I had never heard of this game. I looked at the CD, I looked at the back, I read a little bit of the intro, and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. I don't know how many people even remember it, and I think if I could find the game again, I would like to play it, and I would like to stream it and have you like comment. Akimbo, do you know this game?
No, never heard of that thing.
Oh, dude, Akimbo was such a fun game, mainly because the music was great.
Mm.
And the whole premise of the game is imagine Mario,
Mm-hmm.
but you are like this 12-year-old, like buff, half naked child.
Is it a kung fu fighter? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Akimbo Kung Fu Fighter, something like that it was called. And basically, it's a side scroller game. And the
Mm-hmm.
whole point is there are like different maps that you have to go through. You can't choose. You start at one
Mm-hmm.
place. Every time you finish a level, you might be able to choose which level to do next. But the whole point is you're going through this jungle type area. There is a rope, and there are monsters which are basically like supersized insects.
Uh,
And maybe there are coins, and it was the funniest game to play simply because of the soundtrack. Because it would be like tum 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 ta 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 tum tung 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 tung, and it's just like I want to play Akimbo. And later on, I realized that there is actually in the English dictionary the word Akimbo is a real word, and Akimbo basically means to stand with your hands on your hips. So to stand Akimbo means you're standing with hands on hips, waiting for action. And I think that is the first ever game that I played where the graphics was good enough that I was like, hey, I'm I can like stop thinking about how my laptop or computer. I didn't even have a laptop at that point. My Windows XP is able to support this game, and I will play it. I don't think I ever finished it, but now if I play it again, I will definitely finish it. I think that is like
I'm
the
sure.
first ever fondest video game memory. Because before that, I only had demo version games. You remember demo version games?
I remember demo vision.
Like you used
I
to get demo version games with the VSNL dial-up connection CD, and the games would like, so you would get three games, okay, and sometimes you don't know what games you're getting. But the three games I got extremely skewed in terms of like the categories. I got FIFA 2002 demo version.
Mhm.
Then I got Tomb Raider demo version, and then Tetris. It's just like who? What is this? Like, oh, sports, yeah, FIFA, action adventure, yeah, Lara Croft, and then Tetris, the air Tetris. Just do what you can with
Tetris
this.
is still a huge game, by the way. I
Yeah.
think it's the third most sold game in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
first is
knew Tetris
Minecraft.
from the handheld 100 games in one. Uh,
Yeah,
what was, I don't even know what it's called. It's not Game
it
Boy
wasn't a
version.
hundred games. It was literally a black screen. It
Yeah.
was cheaper than a Game Boy. It had only like 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, and it used to look like a huge ass calculator.
Yeah, I think for me, my first video game was because of my dad, because my dad was a huge fan of Legend of Zelda.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So Legend of Zelda was a role-playing game back in the day, and I think it was for the Nintendo system,
Mm,
like the first Nintendo system. And I remember, like, I never finished. I still can't finish that game. It's very difficult.
mm.
My dad finished that game like
Wow.
multiple times. And then I remember me and my dad got FIFA 2002,
Oh.
and like the original full-fledged game.
Mm.
And we had this horrible habit. Like I had this horrible habit whenever I played this game, I would always score from the halfway line
Oh, yeah.
because there was a glitch in the
Which
game
team
where
did you use?
I think I was already a Chelsea fan by then.
So I used to do that, and because I was using demo version, Manchester United, Cole.
Ah, yes,
Like, I'll shoot from the middle line like nobody's business. Like I'll always try to do this thing where I'll dribble on the line on the like off like on the left side edge, and then just before the D, I would try to like swing it in.
swing it in. Yeah, it was a fun game. But like a game that I still like cherish to the point of like I will go back and play this game all the time is this game called Fable.
Fable.
Yeah,
Okay, what is it like?
it is a role playing action game
Hmm.
that had choices,
Oh,
and that was the first time where I knew that RPGs and fantasy RPGs was my kind of game.
ah,
And that's why I think that for me, right, that's why I'm interested in both board games and in RPG and in video games. Because
ah.
I feel like I was in the midpoint of these games came at a time when I was also looking that I was also playing D&D. So a lot of my gaming comes from storytelling, and a lot of my games come from uh, like these RPG games. I don't think I played a lot of like Prince,
Right.
Doom,
Oh yeah.
those kind of games. I never played a lot of. Like, of course, I've played it because I am a connoisseur of video games, but
Hmm.
I haven't like gone to the point of like, oh, this is amazing.
Srishti is asking, have you used the Nintendo 3DS?
I have the Switch. I did play the 3DS when it was out. I liked it. I used to play this game called Monster Hunter on it. It was a lot of
Oh
fun.
yeah. Like I think for me, first person shooter, the first person shooter game that I played was Wolf 3D.
Mm.
Wolfenstein, which apparently was like anti-Nazi propaganda that I didn't know about. Uh,
Yeah, I think it's not propaganda. It's the truth.
no,
No.
in the game apparently at some point you do shoot Hitler.
Yeah, the last level is Hitler.
And that game, my favorite thing about that game was that every time that you would get injured, your face would start like bleeding and stuff. Like the screen will flash red, and then your face will start bleeding. And
Doom had the same system.
I tried Doom and even Quake, and it scared the shit out of me. Okay, don't jump scare me if I'm supposed to shoot at something. How will I aim if I'm freaking the fuck out all the time? But there was one game which scared me, but I also tried to conquer my fear, and then later on it became a little fun. I don't know if there are cheat codes, but House of the Dead. Have you heard of this game?
Oh, did you play the? Have you played the typing version of the game?
No, I only played the shooter. What is the typing
Yeah.
version?
So there is a typing version of this game where, if you remember House of the Dead was it was called a rail shooter, right?
Okay.
Because as you're moving, you're supposed to shoot them. Like there will
Yeah,
be
it's
like
like
a
the
screen.
the targets don't have a dynamic movement.
Correct. So there is the same version of this game, but you do typing instead. So you have to type out a sentence very fast.
Oh wow. So like as
Yeah.
you type, like the monsters die.
Yeah.
Also remember Virtua Cop 2?
What a
Just what
game!
a
That was the
fucking
best
game.
fucking game in the
I love
world,
that
dude.
game because when you would shoot somebody, they would do like a kung fu flip.
I remember that car chase, dude. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, dude. So Virtua Cop, my cousin used to have it. Okay, so whenever I would visit them, he would be like, "Here, play," and I would lose my mind because, dude, with 2D animation, nobody would have thought you could go that wild.
It was it was actually a beautifully done game.
Yeah, and it also had two-player mode, so you can use
Yeah.
mouse as well as keyboard. And it was so much fun. And I would always try to do this where there'll be some enemies who will jump and then land, and I would always
Mhm.
try to like shoot them before they landed. And without gravity, I don't know how, but even if you shoot them in midair, they'll still flip like whoa. They're like, yeah, bitches, yeah, gunslinger. And like in that, you also had like different weapons. The Magnum, what a
Yeah,
powerful
man.
weapon! Just like get the Magnum, but then you'll never get bullets for it. So like, try your best, bitch.
I think I think like that again is what a that was a beautiful rail shooter. And
Hmm.
I think that was the first game where I was just like, oh, like graphically it was amazing, to be honest.
Yeah.
It still looks good for a game that old.
Hmm. Virtua Cop. And what was like the first game that you played where you felt, oh, everybody else is also playing, it's mainstream, let's do this?
I feel like it's this one is a little strange because I feel because it was big in my school at that time.
Hmm.
It was this game called World of Warcraft.
Oh. So I want to understand, is World of Warcraft and Dota on the same category?
No, Dota is a MOBA that is like it's a team fighting game where
Hmm.
you will be a team of five and there'll be another team of five
Hmm.
and you have to destroy their tower.
Oh.
Okay,
Hmm.
but this game, World of Warcraft, was a online multiplayer role playing,
Hmm.
and the idea was you have quests, you can work together, you can
Okay.
do raids and stuff
Ah.
like that. The reason that I think that was a game where like I really understood like gaming addiction
Hmm.
because I was addicted to that game. Like I think I spent like in a week I would have spent 50 hours.
Oh.
Like I would finish school and I would be back there playing.
Yeah, I remember like rushing back home uh, because I knew that like whether I had tuitions or not, once I think 8 o'clock was the cutoff time.
Mm.
Between getting back home from school and 8 o'clock, you can do whatever you want because it's still relaxation time and all of that. But after 8, after dinner, you better study before you go to sleep. You're not playing games and staying up. Okay, just like after dinner, your life ends today. Tomorrow is a new day, but no. And also because I think that time we didn't have like great internet access. We would just like kind of fend for ourselves in the gaming world.
Actually, I'm wrong. RuneScape. That was the first game that I think I played with everybody.
Roomscape,
RuneScape.
Ruinscape.
RUNESCAPE.
Okay, what is this game?
It's again like World of Warcraft, except it was for a browser. You can play it on a browser.
Oh.
And I remember that game because People will be in this place called Lumbridge, okay,
Ah.
and people will yell out, pay 10 gold for, pay 100 gold for girlfriend. Yeah, this
Like
is a
some
thing.
club penguin shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pay 100 gold for girlfriend, pay 100 gold for girlfriend.
Wow. I think uh,
I'm sorry, this is one more thing I want to say.
uh,
There was this sitting animation on RuneScape. I think I've told you the story.
no.
So what? So to have sex in the
Wow. We
it was so
can
sad.
we can Randy now.
So like, what would happen is you can take anybody
Ah.
and you can take them like that. I think there was like there were different servers and low. We would go to a low population server
Hmm.
and one person will lie down and the other person will sit and then stand, sit and then stand.
And then like suddenly like sticky keys notification will come up.
You're holding shift too long.
Yeah. Shift to next gear, please. Road Rash was
That was
also
a fun
like
game.
one thing I think everybody would have played. Like all 90s kids, I
Yeah.
think Road Rash definitely. And like Road Rash was one of those games where you openly had cheat codes. Like how GTA later came out and said, "Here are the cheat codes. Use them. Have fun in the game." Like in this one also, and in Road Rash, the problem was that the cheat codes weren't like words.
Yeah, they were this one.
There was one
You
for
have to
Nitro
do certain
Boosters,
actions. Uh,
which was some XYZ something something and shift plus N or something. And then there was one to escape from the cop. And one so when I the first time I started playing Road Rush, my sister's friend came and told me like this thing, which I followed like a ritual for many months or even years to come.
mm.
Basically, he said, when you're starting the game, no, there'll be one girl with waving a flag. Just make sure you run over her, you will win. And
I
I
think that's
did that.
true.
I did that. And sometimes because I guess I was too lazy or I knew I couldn't type fast enough, I would try to see if I could cheat the cheat code by just pressing N randomly while I'm just driving without cheat code. And I'd be like, hey, boss is fastest. Okay, let's try N and see what happens.
I think games nowadays don't have like as many cheat codes as before.
Hello, Atik. What's up? Thank you for joining. Yeah, like I think now, actually now games have come to a point where if you use a cheat code or if you're trying to like take a shortcut, then the NPCs in the game will shame you.
Yeah, I think the best one is for Metal Gear Solid.
Ah,
If you're using cheat codes or to make the game easier,
ah.
it'll force you to wear a
Chicken
chicken
head.
hat.
Oh yeah, chicken head. Yeah. And did you know that there was so there are two chicken heads also in the there's one regular chicken hat and then there's
Uh,
another like one more chicken hat which is like the mini chicken hat or something which is just a bigger helmet. And the problem was that if you were wearing the chicken hat, it would
mm.
show up in the cutscenes also.
Ah,
So everybody is like normal and badass,
yeah,
and you're just like, yeah, I'm big boss and I'm wearing a chicken helmet. Don't ask me why.
I think it's actually I think it has a lot to do with the fact that nowadays video games have come to the point of being very realistic or like
Mm,
they're just fun by itself, right?
yeah,
I think the reason older games had cheat codes was because there were a lot of portions of the game which was just boring. Like for example, GTA San Andreas, great
yeah,
game,
yeah,
but it was very hard to get weaponry sometimes,
yeah. And
and
also back
it
then you didn't have walkthroughs like now, right? Like right now,
yeah.
I can go on YouTube and just be like, oh, level walkthrough, and then I can just like literally watch and do the same thing and be done with it.
Yeah, I think there are very few games that have. I think, like for example, Dark Souls, right? I
Hmm.
think that's one game where even with a walkthrough, you're gonna have a hard time. And I think games nowadays have just become this thing of, like there are games that are just super easy, or games that are just super hard, like Dark Souls. So it's very strange. It's a very strange time. I don't know why I always feel, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that I'm just older now.
Yeah.
I always feel like the previous games were a lot more fun to do. I feel like there was some kind of community driven thing when it came to older games. But nowadays, I don't feel like that same community drive is there. Like,
I think it's the opposite for me.
what do you mean?
I think there's too much community right now.
Really?
Yeah, because remember, like when we were younger, right? There was always a sense of discovery to the games you play,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like even if you heard it from somebody else, you still had to take the pain to find the game, download
Ah,
it,
but
and
that's
play and
what was
all.
community, though, no?
No,
Because
but
did
that's not
you?
no. Like I'm talking about how whenever you would zero in on a game to play. Like I played Roller Coaster Tycoon for a while. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And although I'd heard about the Tycoon series and all of that, I played Zoo Tycoon, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. And because I found the game when I did and I played it for as long as I did, when I got bored of it or when I thought I'm done with it, I didn't feel the pressure to continue playing the game because everybody else is playing.
Mm.
So the
No,
games would still be a personal thing for me. Like, oh, I found this game and I enjoyed this game. I'm going to play it for as long as I want. I don't have
I
anything to
think
prove.
I think that's where we come from, like very different places. Because I remember Pokemon was huge in my school as well,
Mm,
and there wasn't a lot of walkthroughs then.
mm,
And the way like we would talk about the games to each other and be like, "Hey man, I'm here right now. I don't know how to get past this. Have you gotten past this?"
yeah.
And like that community drive was always there,
Mm.
right? But like nowadays, that community drive isn't there because at the end of the day, people are just like, "Huh." Like if I don't know something, I can always look it up, like you said.
Yeah, and but I'm talking about in the sense of like the choice part of it, right? Because right now I feel like a lot of the choice is already made for you.
True.
Like if okay,
Agreed.
you want to play a game, all you need to figure out is what kind of game you're looking for, and then you're just flooded with options. And now
Hmm.
it's like you've just been handed these games down. Like this is not a unique memory to you. Everybody is playing Fortnite, everybody is playing PUBG, everybody is playing Call of Duty, everybody is playing like whatever game that everybody is playing right now. And now instead of it being a thing that was just about you and your own free time, now it's you always trying to join in on something.
True.
I think
Agreed.
that's why a lot of the gaming industry has moved from like campaign mode to like the multiplayer mode, and there are still enough games where the campaign mode is just as much fun, but there are definitely some games where they have purposely limited the campaign mode to just be a few hours so that they can
So
push
that they
you
can do the
to
multiplayer. Yeah.
multiplayer
Like
and give
Call
you
of
like a
Duty is a very good example of
microtransactions.
that.
Yeah, so I think that's why
Yeah.
even now, like even though I have like a gaming laptop or whatever, I don't want to
Hmm.
play AAA titles because I'm like, dude, I would rather catch up on the games I've always wanted to play and then just play them anytime I want instead of playing a game that everybody else like. I don't think I'll play Cyberpunk for the next 5 years because enough people have played, enough people have shat on it. Now, if I play it, I feel like somebody is going to ask me as soon as I tell them I played Cyberpunk 2077. They'll try to ask me for an opinion, and I don't want to
Yeah.
play games for to have an opinion. I just want to play games because I want to play games. Okay.
I would give you so much shit for playing Cyberpunk actually. I feel
Yeah, no
like I
needs.
think that's the interesting thing about how I perceive games and how you perceive games. Because for
Yeah.
me, uh, I keep thinking about like how grouping was so important before.
Yeah.
Because I feel like nowadays, even when you're playing something multiplayer-ish,
Mm,
like I love couch potato games.
mm.
Sorry, not couch, couch games, like where
Cause
two, three.
the potato is just like, okay, I'm a potato.
No, it's like we would play together on the same screen,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like
Oh
I
yeah,
miss
the
those kind of
split
games.
screen NFS times. Oh shit.
Uh, think about the amount of fun you had when we played Tekken, dude, or like when we played any kind of fighting game,
Do you
and
do you
we
want
were
to
side by side.
do you want to learn a secret that you'll judge me on?
What?
Never
You never
played
played
Tekken.
Tekken, huh? I'm not surprised.
I've
A
played
lot of people
Virtua
haven't played
Fighter
Tekken.
2. I played Street Fighter. I've tried to play Mortal Kombat 4.
We played Mortal Kombat together once.
Yeah, that
There's a
that also.
video out there.
There's a video out
Yeah.
there on the Instagrams that we can share maybe when you know that it's worth sharing. Where I beat Akib with one move 5 times.
But yeah, I guess that's the only like that's the major difference I find now because everything is online, everything is a point of you can't really get the game in any other form, right?
Mm, mm,
I think that breaks immersion for me a lot. And there were so many games that I can still think of. That's why I bought the Nintendo Switch, by the way,
mm.
because I like the fact that there's an option for me to play with somebody next to me.
Right, right.
There are obviously PC games that do it for you, but like I feel like Switch games do a lot of that for you. But
Okay,
yeah,
closing thoughts. What is the, like, in recent times, and also like in, I think, all of your time playing games, what is that one game that you thought is the most unique game that you played, for whatever reason? It could be the story, it could be the graphics, it could be the mechanics, whatever it is. But what is the most unique game that you played which made you seek out more of the same category, or just like you know that every once in a while you will go back and play this game?
there was this game called Pokemon Snap.
Hmm.
It was a photography game.
Yeah.
So the idea would be you would be in a railroad and you go through like an island and you
Hmm.
have to take photos of
Hmm.
different Pokemon in their
Oh,
habitat.
okay. So you're not like capturing it.
You're not capturing, you're just taking photos.
Okay.
And
Like
I
candid
think,
Pokemon.
yeah, it really was that. Like, and I remember there was a secret way of getting Mew in that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I remember that I kept like I have gone back and played it recently only.
Hmm.
And I was just like, it's such a beautiful game. And I think the new Pokemon Snap is coming out.
Oh,
So I can't wait to try. I think that's a very cool mechanic because it took such a mundane topic like photography
yeah.
and made it interesting. Like I when I first played it, I was like, oh, this is such bullshit. But after the fourth photograph, I was like, I must catch them all. Like it became that. So I think that was an interesting mechanic and like it did really good. What about you?
I think Yakuza Zero, which I played recently, I think it hit all the boxes for me because I
Mm,
like playing open world games, and I like story driven games, and this had both of those in, like, heavy servings. But there was also like the anime, weird absurdity, funny element to it that I just haven't still gotten over. And the
mm,
fact that the game would choose to go into cutscenes, or also like just like sometimes you would feel like you're just reading a manga because it's just there's no movement on screen, there's just like a frame, but then like the text is moving, and once in a while you'll be like, you'll hear ah nani, but it's so immersive. You don't realize that the pictures aren't moving, it's so immersive. And just the amount of character depth, like you never feel like the person that you're playing as lacks anything. They're so fully they're so like as characters they're so like limitless and full, that you're just like, you know what, I would have read this as a storybook. Even if I wasn't playing the game, if I read this as a comic book or a storybook, I would have still felt so thrilled and so excited. Which is what I thought lacked when I played recently. I played Assassin's Creed Rogue, and in Rogue, the main character, I couldn't relate to him at all. After a point, I was just like, dude, I've been through Altair and Ezio, and also like Edward Kenway and Hatham Kenway and also Connor Kenway, and then this dude comes in, and I can't even relate to him. He's just like this moody dude all the time. So now I just want to finish the game because I just want to like finish the series and move on to the next title. But like I thought, like in Assassin's Creed Rogue, the main character didn't have a lot of um, depth at all. But
yeah.
I want to finish the like as many Yakuza titles as possible. I want to play all of it.
You can now also because you have a good computer.
Yeah. So now
So
I'm going to track
there's a
the
new one
chronology.
which is very good.
What is it called?
Yakuza Dragon or some shit like that.
So I think after Yakuza 0, Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are the next two titles.
Mm.
So after I finish,
You can also play Yakuza 3. I think that's also available right now for PC.
uh, but I want to like chronologically go. So right now I'm on Assassin's Creed Unity, which I think I'm almost at the end of. I downloaded Witcher 3. It's a great game, but it also feels like a lot of work. So I'm just keeping that as a backup game that I go to because I know I'll end up playing it for years.
Yeah, you will. But yeah, I guess today's topic is over. Thank you for watching Date Thambi. If you want to follow us, please follow us on Instagram at Codename Soda and at Friendly Jalil. If you've not subscribed to our channel, why have you not thought about subscribing recently?
Yes.
Um,
So we are on Discord, we're on Instagram, and we're on YouTube. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, please continue supporting us. As Akib said, I am at Codename Soda. He is at Friendly Jalil on Instagram. And this was Day Thambi. Yet another edition. We will be back with the next edition at some point in time. In the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your support. This is Akib and Soda signing off
signing
on
off.
Day
Thambi, Thambi,
Thambi.
Thambi, Thambi.